Hello everybody and welcome along to a brand new video today. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, got lots of Doctor Who related gifts and just had a really nice time. But now of course we're only 5 days away from the Doctor Who New Year's Day special, Resolution. And I wanted to tackle one of the kind of rumoured but pretty important aspects I think there might be in this New Year's Day special. So yes, the rumours came to light about a month or so ago now that the Daleks would be returning in Doctor Who for the New Year's Day special on the 1st of January 2019 of course, in an episode called Resolution. Or is it Resolution of the Daleks? Maybe we'll find out, I don't know. And I think that this is quite an important sort of move for the show. It's in some ways a little bit of a surprise compared to what Chris decided to go down as a route for the rest of Series 11, where we didn't have any returning monsters or anything like that from the past, really. It almost felt a bit disconnected from previous series. So the prospect of bringing the Daleks back, I think, is really, really exciting and really could kind of be the little, just what Doctor Who needs right now. And there are several reasons why I feel that. I think, first off, Doctor Who, as I said, has felt a little bit too kind of disconnected from the past in this last series. There was obviously nothing physically returning, really, of any monsters, villains, aliens, characters, anything like that from previous series in Series 11. And there was even not that many references to previous series, not even just like a throwaway line. There were a few, but there really weren't that many when you look at it sort of as a series as a whole compared to previous series. And obviously it was them wanting to establish that new era, making it the fresh start and everything like that. But I feel like we've now reached the point where you need to introduce something to tie it back to the previous series. Something that everybody's heard of, knows about, gets excited and will make people tune in. And I really feel like the Daleks are that opportunity. They are that villain that can pull people back in, create a brilliant story, and just make one that kind of people are talking about and people are interested in and want to watch, which I feel like otherwise there could be a bit of a problem with a New Year's Day special. Because I think a New Year's Day special is different to a Christmas special. With a Christmas special it's very much just kind of, it can be light, fun, entertainment, can be a bit silly, not that much plot. It's not really important, people aren't really that intently watching it, I think, to the same degree that on New Year's Day they're going to be. And so I feel like you've almost got to develop a better story if you're going to do it on New Year's Day, which of course they're going for. And the other important thing is there's not as easy a thing to tie it to, because at Christmas you can just do a Christmassy episode. That in some ways is more straightforward than trying to do a New Year's Day episode, because that's just not got quite the same sort of seasonal significance, I think it's fair to say. Although Chris has confirmed that this episode is set on New Year's Day, as far as we know, in some form, although it looks like we're going to different periods of history. Is the Dalek or Daleks travelling through periods of history, killing people? I don't know. But that sort of, yes, so having that sort of link to New Year's Day is more tricky, therefore I think you have to go down the route of a kind of big epic story, and certainly that's the word Chris has used, epic. I don't think he really used that at all to describe Series 11, so I thought reading his interview in Doctor Who magazine, it kind of gave me a bit more optimism, shall we say, compared to what some of the stuff he's already written, and it just made me feel like maybe this New Year's Day special will be the big epic sort of finale to the series almost that we're hoping for. And I feel, yes, just the return of the Daleks can kind of be the centrepiece of that happening, I think. And that's why it could sort of, yes, really help the show at this stage. I feel like to some degree, not being too cynical, but it's a good ratings pull, because as good as the ratings were for Series 11, and I think they were brilliant, they did decline quite significantly. So to sort of bring the Daleks back in for this episode, it would just sort of hopefully help the ratings, give it that boost that you need, just because people are more likely to tune in and just kind of, they're more interested, because it's like, oh, I remember those aliens, I remember the Daleks, we all know them from 15 years ago, from when I was a child, that kind of thing. It just gives people more of a reason to tune in on New Year's Day. The interesting thing I've found is that so far at least, they've chosen not to reveal that the Daleks are actually going to be in the episode sort of officially. Of course, it's been leaked by The Sun, I think it was, originally, sort of I saw in the tabloid papers, on the websites and whatever, but officially the BBC has not said anything about this. The trailer, of course, that New Year's Day trailer, completely teased it up to be the Daleks, and it would be a surprise and probably a disappointment to many if it wasn't. But yes, it's just interesting to see that they haven't sort of almost taken the marketing opportunity there by plastering them on the trailers and the posters to then just encourage people to watch. So maybe this will be an episode where there's a better catch-up figure if there is Daleks in there, I don't know. Will people therefore want to go back to it a bit more? That would be sort of interesting to see that sort of breakdown if it happens that way. But yeah, it just kind of surprised me that they didn't sort of try and take advantage of the marketing. Does that mean that it isn't the Daleks in reality? I don't know. We're already going to have to wait and see, but of course Chris has always been very, very hot on spoilers, so in that regard, it definitely fits for him to keep it quiet because he just doesn't want to reveal anything and make it a genuine surprise. I think one of the other things where the Daleks could be very sort of helpful for Doctor Who on New Year's Day will almost be, I think, to help Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, because I think as good as she was in Series 11, she kind of, you don't really feel like she's had that many kind of spectacular, iconic moments, any sort of great speeches, and I just don't feel like she's sort of massively defined her own version of the Doctor that much so far. And it's of course, it's always a sort of significant thing when the Doctor meets the Daleks, which you've had in pretty much every single Doctor across the history of Doctor Who, to be quite frank, has met the Daleks. I think every single Doctor has, apart from maybe Paul McGann, at least on TV. But everybody else has met them on screen. And so that, and always that first meeting with the Daleks is kind of sort of almost sets out the Doctor's character a little bit more, I think, at times. And so I feel like this is just a great opportunity for Jodie and the Doctor, sort of this incarnation of the Doctor, to kind of develop themselves a bit more as a character, and having that sort of iconic first meeting with the Doctor's arch nemesis, essentially the Daleks, I think could really enhance this 13th Doctor's character a little bit more, and just give us more of a defined version of this is what this Doctor is like, which we haven't, I feel like, haven't fully got through Series 11. And I also just think the Daleks kind of can create a sort of, having them in this episode could create a proper kind of memorable moment from this era of Doctor Who, because I kind of feel like, without being too negative about it, there's not a huge amount of kind of iconic scenes that you think about from Series 11 and really think, wow, that was an amazing moment. Whereas you can look at the previous few series, even just the Capaldi era, which even isn't one of the, for a lot of people, one of the best. But you look at all the different sort of speeches that Capaldi had, meeting them on Dacian Cybermen, having the two Masters. I know a lot of that's just bringing back old characters and things like that, but it just created exciting sort of amazing moments to watch in Doctor Who, which I just don't feel like we've really got from this series. I mean, probably the most memorable thing we've got is a frog on a chair. It's probably the most memorable thing from Series 11, and I think that says it to a large degree about, yes, that lack of memorable moments. So just to have maybe a redesigned, maybe a new looking Dalek, I don't know what it'll look like, but maybe it'll be a new Dalek, just having that sort of blast through some massive doors and exploding stuff and sort of confront Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, I feel like could create one of those iconic moments from this new era of Doctor Who that I don't really feel we've quite established yet. And so I really do just think it's definitely is important to have the Daleks, and I think it can just really enhance this special and hopefully kind of propel us into this, what's unfortunately going to be a year's gap between episodes. The next gap year of Doctor Who, yet again, unfortunately. But I feel like at least if we can end it on a big high with a exciting, good, fundamentally good story written by Chris is very important. To have it exciting, engaging, maybe a surprise or two, having the Daleks in there, it will just make it kind of memorable and a high point, going out with a high, going out with a bang to finish off this sort of first stint of Doctor Who under Chris Chibnall, before we have, yes, a bit of a break. So I just feel like it's really important just to get that final big blow in, as it were, and really have a proper fantastic story. So I'm optimistic. I'm still willing to give Chris a chance. I think if this episode is a disaster and it's got Daleks in it and Chris writes it terribly, then there are legitimate concerns. I know there are to some degree already, but I feel like that would really put the alarm bells ringing if this episode is really bad and has Daleks and is written by Chris, because it is. But we'll have to wait and see for that on New Year's Day. I am still optimistic, and I really hope we get the Daleks. So there we go, guys. That's my explanation of why I think we need the Daleks in Resolution on New Year's Day. But what about you? Do you think we need the Daleks? Do you think that they will enhance this New Year's Day special? Would you prefer not to see them and just stick to the new monsters sort of idea that they've been going with throughout Series 11? Or are you just not really bothered either way? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. But other than that, guys, do remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. Goodbye!